I want you to take a moment. Just a moment. Close your eyes if you wish, or keep them open if that feels more natural. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I want you to become acutely aware of this present moment. Feel the air in your lungs, the beating of your heart, the weight of your body against the chair or the floor. This moment right now is the only reality you have. It's the only moment that truly exists. And yet, how often do we squander these precious moments? How frequently do we allow our minds to wander away from the present, to dwell on regrets of the past or anxieties about the future? We're so caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily life that we forget to live. We're so busy chasing after goals and objectives that we forget to be. This, my friends, is what I mean when I say, focus on yourself, stop wasting your time. But let's dig deeper into this idea, shall we? What does it truly mean to focus on oneself? What is this self we're talking about, and how can we possibly waste time when time itself is just a construct of our mind? You see, the self is not what you think it is. It's not your name, your job title, your social status, or even your body. These are all labels, masks that we wear in the grand theater of life. The self, the real you, it's the awareness behind your thoughts, the consciousness that observes your experiences. It's the silent watcher, the eternal present. When I say focus on yourself, I'm inviting you to turn your attention to this deeper aspect of your being, to become aware of your awareness, to observe the observer. This might sound paradoxical, and indeed it is, but that's the beauty of it. Life itself is a paradox, a cosmic joke that we're all... Now, you might be thinking, Alan, this all sounds very nice, but how does this help me in my daily life? How does this stop me from wasting time? But you see, that's precisely the point. The very idea that time can be wasted is part of the illusion that keeps us trapped in a cycle of endless doing, never allowing us to simply be. Time, as we conventionally understand it, is a human invention. It's a useful tool for organizing our lives, certainly, but it's not real in any absolute sense. The universe doesn't know Monday from Tuesday or 9 a.m. from 5 p.m. These are human constructs, lines we've drawn on the vast canvas of existence to make sense of our experience. When you're fully present, when you're completely absorbed in the moment, time ceases to exist. Have you ever noticed how time seems to fly when you're deeply engrossed in something you love, or how it seems to crawl when you're bored or anxious? That's because your experience of time is subjective. It's not a fixed, external reality, but a fluid, internal experience. So, when I say stop wasting your time, I'm not telling you to be more productive in the conventional sense. I'm not advising you to squeeze more activities into your day or to optimize your schedule down to the last minute. No. I'm inviting you to step out of time altogether, to immerse yourself so fully in each moment that the very concept of time fades away. This, my friends, is the secret to living a fulfilling life. It's not about doing more, it's about being more. It's about bringing your full presence, your complete attention to whatever you're doing, whether that's washing the dishes, writing a report, or having a conversation with a loved one. But let's pause for a moment and consider why we find this so difficult. Why do we constantly feel the need to be doing something, to be productive, to be moving forward? Why can't we simply be content with being? The answer, I believe, lies in our condition. From a young age, we're taught that our value lies in what we do, not in who we are. We're trained to be goal-oriented, to always be striving for the next achievement, the next milestone. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with having goals, this constant future orientation robs us of the present moment. We're like dogs chasing our own tails, running in circles, but never catching what we're after. We think once I get that promotion, I'll be happy, or once I find the perfect partner, I'll be content. But when we achieve these goals, we find that the happiness is fleeting, and soon we're off chasing. This is what I mean by wasting time. Not that we're not doing enough, but that we're enough. We're not fully present in our own lives. We're always somewhere else, mentally, if not physically. You are a complete. You are already whole. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go to be who you truly are. The self that I'm asking you to focus on is already perfect, already fulfilled. It's only our minds, with their constant chatter and judgments, that create the illusion of lack. Focusing on yourself, then, means letting go of this incessant need to become something other than what you are. It means accepting yourself fully, embracing all aspects of your being, the light and the dark, the beautiful and the ugly. It means recognizing that you are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of it. You are the universe experiencing itself in human form. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, but Alan, if you all just focused on ourselves, wouldn't that lead to selfishness? Wouldn't society fall apart? And it's a fair question, but it's based on a misunderstanding of what the self truly is. You see, when you truly focus on yourself, not the ego self, but the deeper universal self, you naturally become more compassionate, more connected to others, because you realize that there is no fundamental separation between you and the world around you. The boundaries that we perceive between ourselves and others are illusory, like the lines on a map. Useful for navigation, perhaps, but not real in any absolute sense. When you focus on yourself in this way, you become more authentic in your interactions with others. You're no longer trying to impress, to prove your worth, to gain approval. You're simply being yourself, and in doing so, you give others permission to be themselves too. This is the foundation of genuine connection, of real love. And isn't that what we're all seeking? Deep down, connection, love, a sense of belonging. We chase after success, wealth, fame, thinking these things will fill the void we feel inside. But they never do, not permanently. Because what we're really looking for is already within us. It's our true nature. So how do we access this self? How do we shift our focus from the external to the internal? It's both the easiest and the hardest thing in the world. Easy because it requires no effort, no striving. Hard because everything in our conditioning tells us to do, to achieve, to become. The key is awareness. Simple, open awareness of what is. Not trying to change anything, not judging what you find, but simply observing. Observe your thoughts as they arise and pass away. Notice the sensations in your body. Be aware of your emotions without getting caught up in their stories. This practice of awareness, which some call mindfulness or meditation, is not about achieving a particular state of mind. It's not about feeling peaceful or blissful, although these experiences may come. It's simply about being present with whatever is arising in your experience. As you cultivate this awareness, you'll start to notice something remarkable. You'll begin to see that you are not your thoughts, not your emotions, not even your body. These are all experiences that come and go, but you are the constant awareness in which these experiences arise. This realization is profoundly liberating. It means that you're not bound by your past, not limited by your current circumstances. You are free in each moment to choose how you respond to life. You're no longer a victim of your conditioning, but a conscious creator of your experience. And this, my friends, is where the real magic happens. When you stop identifying with your thoughts and emotions, when you stop believing every story your mind tells you, you reclaim your power. You stop wasting time on worry, on regret, on endless planning for a future that never arrives. You start living fully in the present moment, where all of life's richness and beauty. Let me be clear. This is not about escaping from reality or avoiding life's challenges. Quite the opposite. It's about facing life head-on with full awareness and acceptance. It's about embracing all of your experience, the joy and the sorrow, the pleasure and the pain, without resistance. You see, much of our suffering comes from our resistance to what is. We're constantly fighting against reality, wishing things were different than they are. But this resistance is futile. It's like arguing with the wind or trying to smooth out. The only result is exhaustion and frustration. When you focus on yourself and you become fully present, you stop this futile struggle. You align yourself with the flow of life like a leaf floating on a river. You don't try to control the current. You simply ride it, fully experiencing each twist and turn. This doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. On the contrary, you become more effective in your actions because they arise from a place of clarity and presence rather than fear or compulsion. You act not because you're trying to get somewhere or become something, but because action is the natural expression of your being in that moment. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Alan, I have responsibilities, I have bills to pay, a family to support. I can't just sit around being present all day. And you're absolutely right. The art of living is not about withdrawing from the world, but about engaging with it fully while maintaining. The beauty of this approach is that it can be applied to any activity, any situation. Whether you're in a board meeting, changing a diaper, or stuck in traffic, you can always bring your full presence to the moment. And when you do, you find that even the most mundane tasks can become profound. Imagine washing the dishes, for example. Most of us rush through this chore, our mind's already on the next thing we need to do. But what if you brought your full attention to the experience? Feel the warmth of the water on your hands. Notice the gleam of bubbles in the light. Listen to the sound of dishes clinking together. Suddenly, this simple act becomes a rich, multisensory experience. You're no longer wasting time. You're fully living. This is what I mean when I say focus on yourself, stop wasting your time. It's not about being selfish or neglecting your responsibilities. It's about bringing your full self to every moment of your life. It's about recognizing that this moment, right now, is your life, not some imagined future, not some remembered past, but this, right here, right now. And here's the incredible thing. When you live this way, time expands, not literally, of course, but experientially. Because you're no longer skimming the surface of life, rushing from one thing to the next. You're diving deep into each moment, extracting all the richness it has to offer. Have you ever had the experience of time seeming to stand still, perhaps in a moment of great beauty or profound connection? That's what it's like to be fully present. And the more you practice this presence, the more your life becomes filled with these times. This isn't easy. Our minds are habituated to wandering, to planning, to worrying, and that's okay. Practice is not about achieving some perfect state of constant presence. It's about gently, persistently bringing your attention back to the present moment whenever you notice it has wandered. It's like training a puppy. Then the puppy wanders off. You don't get angry or frustrated. You simply gently bring it back again and again and again and again. That's the practice. And over time, you'll find that your mind wanders less, that you're able to stay present for longer periods. But here's the crucial point. The goal is not to achieve some future state of permanent presence. The goal is to be present now, because now is all there ever is. The future is always a concept, never a reality. By the time it arrives, it's already the present. So, when I say stop wasting your time, I'm not saying use your time more efficiently. I'm saying stop living in time altogether. Stop dividing your life into past, present, and future. Stop waiting for your life to begin at some future point. Your life is happening now. You're here for it. This shift in perspective can be utterly transformative. When you stop seeing time as a limited resource that you need to use wisely and start seeing it as an illusion that only exists in thought, you free yourself from an enormous burden. You no longer feel the constant pressure to be doing something, to be making progress. Instead, you can relax into the present moment, knowing that it's the only moment that exists. You can pour yourself fully into whatever you're doing, not because you're trying to achieve some future goal, but because full engagement is the most natural and joyful way to live. This doesn't mean you stop planning or working towards objectives, but it does mean that you hold those plans and goals lightly, recognizing them for what they are, mental constructs, not absolute realities. You work towards your goals not from a place of lack or need, but from a place of fullness and joy. When here's the paradox, when you stop trying so hard to achieve, to become, to improve, you often find that things flow more easily. because you're no longer getting in your own way. You're no longer creating resistance through your anxiety and striving. You're allowing life to unfold naturally, responding to each moment with presence and clarity. This is what it means to focus on yourself. Not on some idealized version of yourself that you think you should be, but on your true self, your essential nature, the self that is always here, always now, always complete. But let's dig a little deeper. What exactly do we mean by this self? In our everyday understanding, we tend to think of ourselves as separate entities distinct from the world around us. We have our bodies, our thoughts, our personalities, and these seem to define who we are. But is this really the case? When we look closely, we find that these boundaries are not as clear as we might think. Your body, for instance, is constantly exchanging matter with the environment. The air you breathe, the food you eat, becomes part of you. And the cells that make up your body are constantly dying and being replaced. So what part of your body can you really call you? Your thoughts and feelings are equally fluid. They rise and pass away, often influenced by factors outside your control. Your physical state, your environment, your past experiences. So are these really yours? The more closely we look, the more we see that what we call the self is not a fixed, separate entity, but a process, a flow of experience, inseparable from the rest of the universe. You are not in the world. You are just as a wave is not separate from the ocean. You are not separate from the totality of existence. This understanding is at the heart of what I mean when I say focus on yourself. I'm inviting you to turn your attention to this deeper, more fundamental aspect of your being, to recognize your true nature as awareness itself, as the space in which all experience arises. When you do this, you naturally start wasting time, because you realize that time itself is just another experience arising in awareness. It's a useful concept, but it's not ultimately real. What's real is this moment, this experience, this awareness. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, but Alan, if the self isn't real in the way we usually think, what's the point of focusing on it? Aren't we just chasing another illusion? And it's a fair question. But here's the cognition of your true nature as awareness is not an intellectual understanding, it's a direct experience. When you turn your attention to the awareness that you're not creating or achieving anything. You're simply recognizing what's already here, what's always been here. It's like the sun coming out from behind the clouds. The sun was always there. It's just that now you can see it. This recognition has profound implications for how we live our lives. When you know yourself as awareness, you're no longer driven by the need to become something, to prove your worth, to achieve some future state of happiness or success. You recognize that you're already complete, already whole. This doesn't mean you stop engaging in activities or pursuing goals. But it does mean that you do these things from a different place. Instead of acting out of a sense of lack or need, you act from a place of fullness of joy. Your actions become a spontaneous expression of your being, rather than a means to an end. Then you live this way, you naturally stop wasting time, because every moment becomes precious. Every experience becomes rich and full. You're no longer rushing through life, always focused on the next thing. You're fully here, fully now. This is true efficiency, true effectiveness. Not in the sense of cramming more activities into each day, but in the sense of fully living each moment. When you're fully present, you bring your whole self to whatever you're doing. And when you do that, you'll find that things often flow more smoothly, more effortlessly. Like how much time do we waste through lack of attention? How often do we have to redo tasks because we weren't fully focused the first time? How much energy do we waste on worry, on regret, on mental rehearsals of future scenarios that never come to pass? When you focus on yourself, on your true self, your essential nature, all of that falls away. You're simply here now, fully engaged with whatever is arising in this moment. And from that place of presence, you can respond to life with clarity, with wisdom, with compassion. But be clear, this is not about achieving some permanent state of bliss or tranquility. Life will still have its ups and downs, its challenges and difficulties. The difference is in how you meet these experiences. Instead of resisting them, fighting against them, you can embrace them as part of the totality of your experience. This is what it means to stop wasting time. Now, it's not about becoming more productive in the conventional sense. It's about becoming more alive, more awake, more present. It's about recognizing that this moment right now is your life. And the only question that matters, are you here for it? Now, you might be wondering, how do I actually do this? How do I focus on myself in this way? And the answer is both simple and challenging. You practice bringing your attention back to the present moment again and again. You practice observing your thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. You practice recognizing yourself as the awareness in which all experience arises. This practice can take many forms. Meditation is one powerful tool, but it's not the only one. Any activity can become a practice in presence if you bring your full attention to it. Walking, eating, listening to music, having a conversation. All of these can be opportunities to practice presence, to focus on yourself in this deeper sense. The key is to approach these activities with curiosity, with openness, to really pay attention to your experience without judgment, without trying to change anything, to be willing to meet each moment fresh, as if you're experiencing it for the first time. As you do this, you may start to notice something interesting. You may find that the boundary between practices and life starts to blur, because really life itself is the practice. Each moment is an opportunity to wake up, to be present, to recognize your true nature. And here's the beautiful thing. As you practice this way of being, you may find that it starts to become more natural, more effortless. You may find yourself spontaneously dropping into presence more often, staying present for longer periods. You may find that the sense of struggle, of always trying to get somewhere, starts to fade. But remember, this is not about achieving some future state. It's not about becoming a better version of yourself. It's about recognizing what's already here, what's always been here. It's about waking up to your true nature right now in this moment. And as you do this, you'll find that you naturally stop wasting time. Not because you're cramming more activities into your day, but because you're fully living each moment. You're no longer skimming the surface of life, always rushing to the next. You're diving deep into the richness of each experience. This is what it means to focus on yourself, to stop wasting your time. It's about recognizing that you are not separate from life, but that you are life itself, expressing itself in this unique and beautiful way. It's about embracing each moment fully, whether it brings joy or sorrow, ease or difficulty. It's about waking up to the miracle of existence right here, right now. So I invite you right now, in this moment, turn your attention to yourself. Not to your thoughts about yourself, not to your ideas of who you should be, but to the simple fact of your existence. To the awareness that is reading these words right. Can you feel it? Can you sense the aliveness, the presence that you are? This is you. This is your true self, and it's always here, always now, always complete. When you recognize this, when you live from this understanding, you naturally stop wasting time, because you realize that time is not something you have, but something you are. You are this eternal present moment, forever unfolding, forever new. So focus on yourself, my friends. Not in a narcissistic way, not in a way that excludes others, but in a way that recognizes your true nature as awareness itself. In doing so, you'll find that you naturally stop wasting time, because you'll be fully alive, fully present in each moment. And from that place of presence, of full engagement with life, who knows what might unfold? What creativity might emerge? What love might blossom? What understanding might dawn? The possibilities are endless, because you are endless. You are the infinite potential of the universe, expressing itself in this unique and beautiful way. So I invite you to embrace this understanding, to live from this place of presence and awareness, to focus on yourself in this deeper sense, and in doing so, to stop wasting your time. Because When you live fully in each moment, when you bring your whole self to each experience, you're not just living your life, you're creating it, moment by moment, breath by breath. And that, my friends, is the greatest adventure of all. The adventure of being fully alive, fully present, fully yourself. The adventure of recognizing your true nature and living from that recognition. The adventure of focusing on yourself and, in doing so, embracing the entire universe. So go forth, my friends. Focus on yourself. Stop wasting your time and discover the incredible richness, the boundless possibility, the profound beauty that is your true nature. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that step is always taken right here, right now, in this eternal present moment. Are you ready to take that step? Are you ready to wake up to who you really are? The choice is yours, and the time is now. Always now.